What's going on, everybody? It is Madman Plant. We are in the house today. I just got back from Baltimore yesterday. So, for those that didn't know, stop number 5 on the tour was Baltimore, and it was awesome. Now, this was their first knee can, so it was definitely a learning experience for a lot of people. But we met a lot of home growers and a lot of great people in the community, especially a lot of new brands, a lot of new companies, a lot of people, they were there for their first time at NECAN. So it was really awesome. I was accompanied by my beautiful wife who's in the chat right now. And we had a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, somebody did steal one of my banners, which I think is kind of shitty. And it's $800 banner. These things are expensive. But we made it work. We made it perfect. If you see anybody with a Madman Plant banner, I'd like it back. But I really like being on tour. Mainly, one, we're talking Madman Plant, SmokeBusters, breaking down the stigmas, talking about cannabis health, home growing, and mental health. Plus, not only that, but we're talking about our sponsors. I can't do this without our sponsors. Our silver package sponsors are AC Infinity and Simple Solvents. We have bronze with Hygrozyme, No Clone Left Behind, and our company, Good Luck Step Productions. And it's just so cool to really be out there and to see everybody. Plus, we made a very scandalous video with Honey. If you didn't see that little commercial, I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm going to fix my face here. But tonight I have on a good guest with me. Now, Kyle's somebody that I've definitely known for a while. And he's a very talented glass blower. And I'm very excited to have him on here. I'm actually going to be smoking on one of his pieces tonight. And this is the show piece that we're going to be carrying around with us that I got from him at National Cannabis Festival, which I see him each year at. And it's pretty cool how we met. So when we met, which I'll go into when I bring him on, we met at a 3-day music festival. You guys remember me talking about being on acid and meeting that kid with almost no teeth on the bench crying? That was the exact same event where it was all bands, all music, and it's called Jerry Garcia Farms. So it was actually pretty cool. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my boy Kyle here. What's going on, dude?
What's up, everybody? What's good today?
Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of cool for you bring you in actually working on glass so everybody can see you in the studio, smoking on your piece recently. I really like this thing a lot, and I'm really appreciative that you gave me this. It's also cool, too, because it's color changing. So, it colors up when, you get that nice resin buildup on it. So we've known each other for a long time, just like I was talking about at that event. You remember that event?
Oh, yeah, and it's Jerry Garcia Way. That's over at Sunshine Daydream Farm.
Yeah, dude. And that's the first time I met you, and you were out there doing your booth and everything, and I got my first dab chilling from you. Remember that?
Absolute. And that's even my brother was there for that event, which we never get him out. That's definitely a memorable one for Batman's Weeding Roast, maybe it was it April that I think I maybe met you? It was probably 2013.
So it was put on by a guy named Batman. Green
That's Weedy Roast. That's what he does.
Okay.
That's my buddy, CJ.
Okay, well, yeah, and then who was the country music artist comedy guy that was there performing? It was like kind of like a big deal, Mr. Green, or I can't remember his name.
Dr. Green Thumb.
No,
there's something similar too, and it's I'm drawing Doctor. I mean, I feel like it's Doctor, and that's the Cypress Hill one, Dr. Green Thumb.
He was a guitar player, and he was really funny. He had a couple songs about weed. He flew in for the event. Anyways, it was a good event. And if you haven't been out to there, do they still do events there?
We're about once, twice a year there now for doing the Jerry Garcia birthday bash. Typically happens first week of August.
Let me know about this year. I'm definitely going to be there.
Oh yeah, absolute. Love to have you, because it's really the place to be. There's some other shows around. That one's just more household intimate with friends. It actually showed up on Futurama Season 3, episode 13. I don't know if you know that. It's worthwhile checking out, looking up.
Kyle, it's at glassblow art on Instagram is Kyle's link. So if you want to find him. So right now, like I said, I'm smoking on one of his pieces. Talk about this piece in particular.
I love those ones. That's there's this little story behind it where I call it like the friends meeting. Where there is a mushroom introduced to the party, and as you know, some people call them frogs, some people call them spuds. They're just little critters of sorts, where they just popped out of nowhere to be like, holy shit, do you see that? And then I try to make one pupil's a little bit bigger than the other to kind of be like, yeah, I think I do see that kind of thing. And that's for, just kind of like where friends can get together and then we start sharing these stories and having fun with, being by the campfire. I don't know if you've, or anybody else out there has ever experienced, but sometimes those little fun guys show up and, it can turn a campfire into a whole universe. That's for damn sure. So that's where, my idea, we're just to get friends together, have a little spuds. He sees this, hey, check that out. Let's rock a ride with that. And to, make it functional, which I love a smaller pipe, but if it's going to be a bubbler water function, I want it to be a little bit larger. That way, you get, at least a day's worth before you got to go and clean that thing out, because the way we be chiefing around the campfire, it's about to get fired up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And one thing cool about your designs is you said back when we first started getting together, and I asked you why you got into glasses, like you said you were tired of trying to buy glass because it was so expensive. So you started creating glass on your own.
In a sense, for expensive, yeah, but doing it myself these days, I can understand where the value and work comes into each and individual piece. Sometimes I can, to pick it apart, like, wow, that actually took somebody days, weeks, maybe months or more, kind of thing. And that's, beyond the years of experience to say that's needed to make it all happen. The idea that I could not find a bong with a turtle for my dad. It's like, how can we find that, and after, just searching around, it really, not that it was impossible, but eventually it turned up, and, that was like, where, holy shit, y'all do this? Like, do you think I could check that out? And that's where Ronnie was kind enough to invite me to the West Coast to, to get hands-on, to make it all happen. And, that pretty much changed my life. This is day in, day out what we do.
Well, let's go into that. So you started in 2011 in Plumman, Washington. So you being invited to the West Coast, how did all that start?
Dude, it took me like 2-3 years to actually be like, go crash on some guy's couch that I don't know, travel to the West Coast with nobody else but myself. Best choice I ever made, changed my life, kind of thing. So sometimes you got to take those little leaps and bounds. I was, a bit apprehensive at first, but then all of a sudden it's like, Ronnie's cool. I didn't feel uncomfortable by means. I had been dealing with him for a few years, buying some couple custom pieces in a sense, and that's where he was kind enough to share the knowledge, to invite me out and let me learn the ropes, kind of thing, I guess, as we call it.
So when you went out there, you had no knowledge of glass blowing at all?
Nothing, man. It was, no YouTube videos, and I mean, hell, if I knew more about the books that are accessible these days, I would have been buying them and had my nose in there. But at the same time, it was me and my buddy, just thinking you needed a whole laboratory to make something like that happen. And, so it's just kind of, all right, we win the lottery, maybe one day we make that happen. Meeting Ronnie, him being cool, it's like, no, you just kind of can do it like this, and this will work. And just, he was ever sharing, ever kind, just the kind of person where, wow, like, so sometimes artists can be a little bit standoffish, which I try never to be that way. The way Ronnie was kind to me, I always try to pay that forward to anybody else that wants to learn, get hands-on, kind of thing.
So what was Ronnie's philosophy with glass?
Feed the kids, pay the bills. No, not so much. He's an amazing guy. And that's where, The first time that we got introduced, I was looking for a custom piece for some friends that were two wonderful friends of mine that were getting married, and I'm like, okay, I'd like to get a piece with their initials on there. And it took me a long time to find anybody that was actually willing to take on the project. And Ronnie was super cool, like, hey, I think I can make that happen by December when it was. Um, that was that was probably 2009 or 10 at that point. So and that's where he was super cool, kind to just to take on the idea. Like I'm basically I let the artist beat it forward. Give me some blue, give me some white, and put those initials in there. And he was like, hell yeah, we can. And I was like, that's the kind of positive mentality I like to rock and ride with my project. It's not we can't, how can we? Nothing's impossible. Every day's different, and we're trying new things all the time.
Yeah, I think. Well, you put it really well there. Nothing is impossible, and impossible to they say is a small word thrown around or a big word thrown around by small people.
Yes,
And
not we can't. How can we?
yeah, well, and it's an idea too. Is like you're dealing with an art form which comes only with inside mind, body, and spirit. So this is a self of expression. So this is not something that you really need to think about it. As an artist, even with me in video, you're visualizing it, you're seeing it. Walt Disney, where I saw a quote, a little video on Instagram, and when Walt Disney World died before Disney World was actually finished.
The vision.
And when they had the ceremony, one of the executives said, I really wish Walt could have seen this. And one of the people said, you don't understand. He did see this. That's why it's here. You know what I mean? Is sometimes in these things, these visions and ideas come long before they ever come in practicality. You know what I mean? Especially in true art forms. And
Indeed.
you know, I just think that's such a powerful thing that was said. It's like that's why it's like there's two ways to look at a mountain. From the top and from the bottom, and it's just such an interesting perspective where somebody was like, I wish he was here, and somebody was like, no, you don't get it. It's here because of he already saw it. You know what I mean? So he didn't need to see it in person. Obviously, it would have been nice, but it's just very interesting, and that's why I love creativity because it's really a show of like craftsmanship, dedication, the quality, the detail, all these things that really make up these glass pieces, especially when you deal like when you go into like a bong shop or a glass store, everything looks the
Disney
same.
specific. They
You
have
know what I
their
mean?
own. They have their own amazing team of artists that is just over the top.
Well, what I'm saying is, personally, me, like when I look at like unique pieces like this, like nothing's done by machine. So with yours, there's like imperfections, but they're the correct type of imperfections. Where in this case, even though you'll make thousands of these, no two ones will actually be alike because they'll have a slight different angle. One might have a different colored mushroom. One might be a little bit bigger base, one might have a different more form. And I think that's the beautiful thing of it. It's kind of like fingerprints at that point. You know what I mean? They're all
Fingerprints,
different.
snowflakes, and the same. Each
You know what I mean?
beautiful and individual.
And that's what I like about your pieces is like when I look at this, right? The stem doesn't stand straight up, but it doesn't need to because when it's in the bong piece, it's exactly where I need it to be. It's perfect. But you can just feel the difference between somebody that has put hours of talent and craftsmanship into their piece versus just something that is designed to be like perfect circle, perfect, this. They're all the same. They all have the same markings. With this, there's just so many variations to the way the glass is stained, from the way you blow it and everything like that. So I really just appreciate, just like individualness, especially
Thanks.
like, on your pieces, which you'll know if you'll have one of his pieces is going to have that smiley face at the bottom. That's the signature to know that you have a glass flow art piece. It's just the little characteristics. What are these guys here on the side that you called them?
Spuds. Because if I gave them legs, they'd be more like frogs, but they're tadpole-ish kind of thing. They're somewhere between frog and tadpole.
So let's talk about the beginning. Your original style. What was your vision of glass back then?
Dude, and when I went to go to the West Coast, I just wanted to learn how to make a pipe and how to make a marble. To have, basically, small ambitions and really never, think, oh, okay, I might set something up and I'll try that sometimes. But, went out there with just trying to learn something new, to say the least. And that's where, I had ruptured my Achilles at that point, and it just kind of, maybe I was just thinking, what can I do that, something else? Because I was just getting bored sitting there playing video games. So chatting with Ronnie, he was like, you want to come out here? Of course, you're welcome. Let's check it out and see how this works. From there, I just, watched him for the first day. When I showed up to his place, I said, what kind of beer do you drink? And he said IPA. So I showed up with 4 cases, like, we're cool, right? And he's like, you wrote groceries too? And I'm like, yeah, this is how you've been so kind to invite me out here. I just want to make sure that, we're okay. But so I watched him for the first day, and he showed me, some shit, like you were mentioning earlier. I didn't have any kind of knowledge. There was no YouTube videos back then. And for the sake of trying to get an understanding of what's happening, I just, took it in for a day. And by the day, he was like, if you want to get hands-on, you think you're ready, go for it. And at that point, it was like, grab the bull by the horns and let's go. So, to say I did a couple little mushroom-style pendants that day. Like we do like a little implosion to make the mushroom internal and inside of a little clear globe, and then to try to make a little loop that way you can hang it on a pendant or a bale to create the pendant, so that way you could wear it around your neck. Man, it was neat and fun at the same time. I like to consider it like hot glue. It takes forever to get going, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, that's a liquid. You only got a few seconds to make your move, make that happen. With that understanding, it's, every day still learning something new, but he was ever kind, ever patient, wanted me to learn the safety protocols. As I like to tell people, it's really no more dangerous than cooking with an open flame. You got to respect it, such as the same, precocity of the, where, if you're going, grab that, spatula while it's hot, you might burn yourself. So, don't go ahead and grab that piece of glass if you think it might be hot. Take your time, and everything does happen slow with this medium, or not to say slow, a little bit slower than we expect. It's not just we're coming over here 3D printing stuff. It's a little bit of prep work, puzzle pieces, how we put everything together to make everything come together to create that project of sorts. Since for like that bubble you're working with over there, it's got the joint on top, it's got the can, and it's got the neck stem, and then add the little creatures, and then add the mushroom. It's just little parts and pieces that we do to, draw it out, create a vision, start to make things happen. It's, really, like we say, like it's always a work in progress. One of the great things I did learn from Robert Mickelson class I took probably in 2015, it's not about what you can make, it's really about what you can fix. So the glass being a never forgiving medium, if you start to mess something up, you can always go back in to try to correct that. Of course, not everything works that way, but in theory, it's really just a, to say like clay, but you can't touch it with your hands. You got to use some tools or gravity or something, in your favor to, accoutrement sculpt, like to make it all happen.
I heard a little bit of the philosophy in that, and that's the idea. Now, how do you keep from going the balance, I guess, between creativity and practicality? Like, how do you make something like very unique and complex, but also something that's easy to use and simple?
And I would pay attention to minor details, to say, function over form versus fiction over pain. So to be able to create a piece that is certainly functional. Like if I feel like I could use that piece, I would be certain that somebody else could use that piece. And of course, it may be there's different visions and different ideas of, who one desires such, a bigger bowl, a smaller bowl, a bigger hole, or a triple hole. The sky's the limit for whatever we can do to create all these things. At the same time, that's where I'm always wanting to, at least if it's going to work for me, it certainly should work for the other person. And to pay attention to minor details such as, like, your bowl hole shouldn't be over 4 millimeter size, or else you're just going to be sucking the hot dog down the hallway. You don't want no Scooby snacks in your mouth. Or if it's too small, then you got to have a paper clip in your pocket to be able to, like, all right, now we're getting functioning again. I've had, friends, family, and customers all the same, where it's like each to their individual desires. That's the neat thing we can make happen. Where if you say, hey, can we do this? You draw it with a crayon. We make that thing, within with of course the scope practice. We do have our limits of size, the kiln size. We're not doing stuff this big. But like, I've done longs that are every bit of almost 2 feet tall, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think too, you're glitching out just a little bit. But I think too is Kyle, you still with us?
Yep, just grabbing a drink.
Okay. I think so too is, yeah, some of those things like a massive like 12-foot bong would be like cool to have like in your house, I guess. But the practicality uses is, I have a couple big bongs too. Like, for instance, I have this that I use from time to time. Now this is by Pulsar, and it's a gravity bong, but it's like a professional, like, legit made one, I guess, if you will. And I would much rather on a daily basis use this, just mainly over the function and the ease. Just because, I can carry this around, carry that around. It's like, it's a little much unless, I'm at an event or something or trying to be cool. But, I definitely think that I had a friend, and hold on 1 second. My son's yelling on the VR. I got to shut the door. I have a friend, and he gave me this metaphor once from that. It's based off of his friend's radio shop store, I guess. And when you went into the store, you would have like all like the small stuff, right? Small, like $50 radios, whatever. And as you go back to the store, it get more and more expensive. And he's like, listen, does anybody even really buy this stuff? And he's like, no. He's like, nobody really spends the big money on this. He's like, it's mostly for display and to show off and to get people to come in. He's like, let me show you what they really buy. And he took him to the front of the store and he said, you see the front of the store? This is what most people buy. And it's the idea that, it's cool to have those capabilities, but I think practicality, and that's why I asked the question, is more important because people are trying to fit this in their backpack. They're taking it hiking with them. They're, trying to put it safely on the airplane so they can smoke when they land, So having, monstrous things that require, multiple breaths or, a good set of lungs or, all these things is great. But I think, the simpler, smaller pieces, I just think they hit harder, in my opinion.
There's a lot to say with size and flavor as well. If your piece gets too big, it's going to be too stale by the time you get your hit.
Yeah,
a little bit smaller piece, especially for like the concentrates, you want it to be, hitting the palate right away, to say, that way you get that full flavor action. And that's where I've had a buddy of mine who he introduced me to dry dabs out of his rig. It was a water piece, but he's like, no, it keeps it cleaner and I can taste this. And I was like, holy shit, that tastes like high school, my friend. Like, that's amazing. Like, where it's like, damn, that brought it back, kind of thing. And I know they're doing some artificial flavors here and there, putting it in this and that, and different weeds for different strokes, different folks, I understand. But sometimes when you get that little off the, like, that little taste on the tip of your tongue, like, wow, there is something special about that. So that's why I definitely accoutrement to a smaller piece versus a larger obtuse style piece. My bong I use at home is an old roar, but I'm usually doing flour versus concentrates. And if I do, I got this little rig that my buddy fucking Cody gave me over here, just to plug my buddy Cody Wade with the little fucking moonshine jug. That's my little piece right there, little carb cap on top.
That's cool.
A little stuff there, but yeah, that's my buddy over there in California. I met him at a class one time, and it's neat, amazing to cross paths with these people, and start to share new ideas. Be kicking it ever since.
No, I definitely agree. And then when you get like some of the very unique pieces that come in, like some of them that I've seen, some of these competitions are like champ. It's just like holy shit, dude! Like
I'm surprised they don't have you video over there.
Right?
You should be helping them out. I mean, you do amazing work.
Well, I'm not a glass blower.
No, but you do the videoing kind of thing, or the
yeah. I think next year on our tour list, Champs is definitely going to be on it because it's a good show, and we love Vegas. We go each year to Vegas to MJ BizCon.
You got one in Atlantic City coming up. I think it's this week.
No, but I will be in Atlantic City later this year for NECAM.
Fuck yeah.
One thing I got, and this isn't from you, unfortunately, but I don't know if you do this, is check this out. This was given to me at the event. It's a glass fidget spinner. And you just move it around in your hand. It's just a glass ball stuck in here.
Shake it really hard. Nice. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. That's badass.
And then check this out. I also got this too, and I don't know if do you make any jewelry, but they're two marbles that are stuck in it. It's called a dub loop.
I'll do pendants sometimes for sure. My newest thing is the
from you.
Hey, it's your turn.
Oh, the maracas. Now that brings me up to your wedding. So at his wedding, he did a really, really cool thing. He made a glass wedding card for his wife that stood up there by the cake and everything. And it was really, really cool.
I think it's on the shelf over there. She wasn't very careful with stuff. I had to repair it. So,
oh, man. Well, you know what? It's a good thing that you're a glass blower, because if anything breaks that's glass in your house, there's a good chance that you'll be able to fix it, unlike most people.
So many pieces in the past where it's like, man, if I'd have just kept those little bits and pieces, I could have maybe put that back together later for something fun to enjoy.
Do you ever get like a request for like a bong repair? Like, dude, I broke my bong. Can you put it back together?
All the time. And it feels good to get things out of the graveyard and back on somebody's shelf sometimes.
You know what I thought too?
Put a smile on the face.
Is, you have a lot of that glass excess. So like when you're making pieces and they break, or, you're doing different things, you should do like a Frankenbong. Like what you do is like a limited edition. You go through all your scraps and you make a Frankenbomb, and you build
give it some scars and band-aids and shit.
Yeah, but it's built out of all these different pieces, and it makes up a functional bomb. I would buy one of those from you, dude. That's like totally unique. It's like the scrapyard bomb, You could even like market it like that, So it's like
you give me some broken pieces. I'll put it together for you, brother.
Well, I do want to sit down with you and talk about a Madman plant glass piece that I wear at events. I think that would be super dope with my my mask and everything, maybe some black and white glass. You're the expert, so we'd have to figure it out. But I definitely want to, hire you to do that, because that would look fucking phenomenal.
That would be tremendous. And that's
dude.
I just seen Eric Anders do this black and white kind of thing that it's right up the speed of. So that's where, man, why didn't I think of that vision? And that's the neat thing about just seeing other artists following after the Olympians, as I call them, like anybody that's doing it. Always looking up to them, trying to do some things and, manipulate it, trying to do it my own way to, just create upon the art.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing, it's all about art style. It's all about culture, what we've been talking about. So let's talk about mass production. How do you do? I see a lot of pictures on your Instagram where you have maybe 50 pieces or more. in one setting. How do you keep up with that? You have multiple blowers now, or how does that
No,
work?
I'm a solo operation. Glass blow art might sound like a big business, but I just present it that way. It's, I might have some members on my team, such as my buddy Brian's over here on the torch, but he's making his own things. He's not making my things. Anybody that wants to come and learn from me, I usually, am happy to project them, start doing what they want to do. I don't need them and what I need to make. And of course, if I've already done the math, it's going to take me 50 years to make a million pipes, and then at that point, I'd have a million pipes on a million tables. That'd be pretty cool. We should have at least 20 million bucks by that point, I would think. But at the same time, yeah, it's going to take 50 years on the math, and that's doing 300 a day. 50 a day at 300 days out of the year, kind of thing. Just to call it a job in that perspective. So, and then of course, some days I want to make a little more elite exclusive pipe, right? And that's okay too. To keep up with orders, what I do, write everything down. If somebody says they want to do something, you write it down, you agree on it, especially if they're wanting a big order. The best thing that I do is take half out. That gets them committed. That means their hand's already in, the sake of you're buying my materials. That way I'm going to make it happen. If you were to back out, I'm able to at least pick up broken pieces at that point, to say the least. And that's, the neat, nice thing about communication with people. It goes a long way. Handshakes, eye contact, stuff like that, to let people know that you're serious. Write that stuff down. You set these, just say, could call them contracts. Sure, it's locked in. And I've had some that have plugged apart, and I've had some that have just blossomed into these beautiful relationships where I'm making pieces for them year after year, or sometimes, season after season. Like we're doing this new the Monocacy Brewing, right? About 3 miles down the road. They're like, we want a local guy to make our cups. I'm your guy. You're like, yes, please. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, that's all those all on the table. That's what I was referring to. All those cups.
And that's where, sometimes it's knocking on doors, putting the emails out there, reaching out, to let people, because a lot of times people, oh, you do that? Like, yeah. Well, can you do this for me? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we can make that happen. But unless you're, letting them know what's possible, what's able to happen, being the business owner, operator, the hands on deck. And so, it's up to me to make it happen day in, day out, and it's a good saying that I like to, my buddy Chuck over in Zimbabwe, there ain't going to be no sitting down today. We got shit to do. And that's where, if it's not another email sent, if it's not another phone call, just, trying to get work there on shelves, filling orders for, I've done like some weddings, to say where that was they wanted glasses to, to give to their, what do you call it, the people that attend. And
Yes.
that was, that was really fun, like parting gift. I'm like, that was a lot cooler than mine, for, actually my wife had me do Christmas ornaments style, like, were just like little globes that you can hang from a tree kind of thing. So I guess mine was cool, but when Patrick was like, we do glasses for everybody, I'm like, dude, yes, we can. I love that idea. So that's, just to keep those, the eyes open, never limit, and, the open mind to what else is possible. Let's do that too.
No, I definitely agree with that. So let's go to the materials. What type of glass, and how do you choose glass as an artist, especially when we talk about what we're inhaling and the safety of it.
In a sense, what we're working with, borosilicate, that's just the scientific name. To say Pyrex would be like that household name that, maybe it's all mom's, grandma's dish or something, in the cooking cabinet. Pyrex would be that same household name where it has this coefficient at 33. It just means the glass cools and heats up at a reasonable rate where the molecules aren't just smashing themselves together and shock themselves. You take a frozen casserole out the freezer and put it in the oven at 350. That Pyrex dish should be able to withstand that heat. Versus, to say the soft glass, and that's where borosilicate, we're calling that hard glass, versus soft glass has a coefficient between 91 to 104, I believe, which just means it cools at a slower rate. So a lot of times when you see people like, where it's like pulled out of the oven doing that old world style, versus I'm using the torch here, but you got that big glory hole with the, the dipping that thing in there, spinning around. There's a show on the internet about that. Not Torch Talk. You remember the name of that show? Blown Away. Blown Away is the name of that show. But it shows you that old world style where everything kind of happens a little slower versus what we're doing is a little smaller scale. So it's borosilicate, pyrex in the same name. I like to think of it, if I hadn't mentioned before, like hot glue. It takes a little bit of time to heat up, but once it does, it's in that liquid state. Cool. Now you got a few moments that you can make that move, start to shape it, make something happen. And then at that point, to either get it back and introduce the torch, that way you can maintain the heat base. And that's where too many things where it's like, and that's where everything, when do you add the color? Okay, well, it can come in rods or frit. Frit would be crushed glass, which can be as fine as sand, powder, or as, coarse like kosher salt kind of thing. And to say the larger chunks are going to give you a little more resemblance of a bigger splotch, so to say. In a sense where I'm working here with some line tubing that my buddy Kevin made, where it's got yellow stripes on one side and it's completely black on the other. And then once I start to twist that up, it'll just kind of make like a cool killer bee like pattern. That's about the idea that I'm running with this one. And that's where it's all up to you and the artist. It's where to pick the colors that you want to choose to create such projects. Make it as abstract as you like. Or I've seen some brilliant pieces where it is just all one solid orange, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like wow, like some things that just take your breath away sometimes. And that's where to try to draw things a little bit can help, but sometimes you get some of your best ideas by going for something, and then it's like, wait, I wasn't aiming for that, but wow, check out how that happened. You learn new things all the time that way.
Yeah, and I think working with your hands, constantly having to learn is the best way, because it involves a lot of failure, a lot of things breaking, mess ups. And I think, it's like a muscle memory at this point, everything that you do, and how you're just looking at the glass, being able to understand it, knowing how it's going to mold and work in your hands, and what that transpires to when it comes to bringing different parts of it on, when you're connecting the stem to the actual base and everything. Now with the special glass that people are using, where it's really holographic, or even right here with these cool mushrooms, how does that all work? How do you put a mushroom in a glass piece like this and maintain shape and structure and all that?
The short answer, that glass typically wants to be round, and as we're heating it in the flame, we're always spinning. You never stop spinning. If it's hot and you're not spinning, gravity's just going to take it away from you. So the idea that I like to present to, in a sense, like my first students when they come over to check things out, picture yourself dipping a wooden spoon in honey. That honey's going to want to drip off the end of that spoon. Now spin that spoon and try to keep that little ball of honey centrifugal on the end of that spoon. That's similar to the idea of what we're doing with the torch and with the glass work. So with that, once we start to heat it up, get it malleable, liquid-like in its state, for the mushroom you're seeing there, I think that's a double amber purple color that I used in there.
Yeah, it's
company.
Like a purple.
It's almost like it's not always what you see is what you get. It's like a striking color where it does have some different metals in there, included, such as maybe silver or copper or forgive me for not knowing all my elements off the top of my head.
Gallium.
It's got some gallium in there. So the idea that once we have these colors, we stretch it out a little streamer, and got a little hot glob of glass on the end, and then I'll implode that color into that hot glob of glass, always spinning, that's right, I can't spin my fingers like that, but spinning, injecting that little bit of color in there. That little tip will blossom because it's so molten on the inside of that core that it just kind of expands and creates that little mushroom tip kind of thing. And that's where, you snap off the end there. That'll create your stem, heat to close that off. And sometimes it's easier to do it than talk about it. And that's where, that's about a 5-minute demo right there. Whenever you're ready to do a video like that, we certainly could.
Yeah, you know what? Well, Madman Plants should come to your facility, and we should.
Pool's opening soon. Always welcome, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're in Maryland, so it's only one state away.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I do have a couple quick questions. Gronomics, our mod here that's controlling the cameras, he says, "Do you smoke when you blow glass?"
Well, sometimes I'll start my day with a little bit of medical marijuana to activate my bowels. But at the same time, it really depends on what we're working on. Or it's not that I do. I say I do. I don't. It's not unruly by any means. Sometimes that does happen.
So I mean, I would imagine, like for instance, like I do video production. So when I edit, I definitely smoke because I got to be creative, and I got to be kind of in the game and like locked in. So for me, cannabis is really helped me like lock in.
Sometimes I find myself in the chips too much. So it's like if I be smoking, it's like, dude, you're like, oh shit, I got some crackers over there. Let me go, get a little hyper snack kind of thing. But I'm not opposed to it at all, and I certainly do. But to get stoned and blow glass, I find myself moving a little bit slower, to say the least. And that's where not that you can't, but it's just more like, all right, maybe I'm just like running this wave a little bit. Where like I guess sometimes I'll think, oh, I'm gonna get like 20 pieces done today, and then like all of a sudden it's like, wow, you did 3. It's okay, so long as we're getting something done.
Anthony says it's hard to smoke when you're blowing glass and have to keep it hot unless you have a helper. Yeah, or one of those raw joint necklaces, you know what I mean? Where you hit the joint, like the game controllers. That's funny. So
I would do it the same. Like, yeah, somebody's like asked me off a number, before, and it's like cool, and then to ride with that. But I would do it at the same time. That's just, it's like any other job. I mean, like banging a hammer. It's a little bit easier without that going on at once. But sure, if I do that, it might help me think about how I wanted to bang that nail in.
now, when you deal with, so like I think it's called color chip. Is that right? Or where you have all the holographic pieces that are inside glass, like where it'll be like this glass, and then the whole next section it'll look like like a gemstone, if you will, like that's encased in the glass, and then it goes back to chipset. Is that what it's called?
I feel like we're talking 3 things at once, but yeah, all
I
those
don't know
are,
glass.
and
That's why I got you. I have no
yeah. So
idea.
essentially, to say a chip stack, that would be using such as like a ribbon, where I got one over here. I'll reach for. I got this ribbon here. I'd like snip, 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 and then put those pieces together to stack those in such as a chip stack form. It almost looks like a basket weave.
Yep. Yes.
And that's one style to do it. To get the sparkling aspect in there is going to be either dichroic glass, or crushed opal. Crushed opal being a little bit more expensive, kind of bling bling method. Dichro still looks fucking phenomenal in itself. So that's where both delightful, but that would be adding the dichro over the color when you pull those out, and that'll just create almost like that holographic, sparkly kind of effect. I think that's maybe like where you're going with that question.
Yep, exactly. And I guess opal is a pretty easy stone to work with. Is that why so many people incorporate it?
It is synthetic opal, so it is lab created that they have it within the coefficiency relative to that 33 that the glass borosilicate is cooling at rates such as is. I've had some good luck and I've had some bad luck doing it. It's depending on what color you to say encase around it can be shocking. Greens can be a little finicky kind of thing. Greens don't like to be encased. There are a few greens that you can, but at the same time, cobalt, a darker color, is going to present that sparkle a little bit better. So that's more my scope and aim of practice, what I try to do. And then there's of course the request of people ask for this, ask for that. I'm happy to, sure. If you want a teal in the background, we got some teal here. I've got a little crushed opal piece here that I'll pull out the long side and see if you can maybe get a vision upon.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can definitely see the sparkle. I
Yeah,
like
you
it
know,
because it gives that dimension look to it, where
got
it's
like a
layered.
million little fucking stars in there, kind of thing.
Yeah, all encased in that glass. Uh, Curly Leaf or Curly Greenleaf says, "What is your main style? Animals, colors, shapes, plants, insects?"
Um, Man, that's an awesome question to say. I love all those things. To say like putting a little turtle, a frog on a pipe always, turns me up, makes me smile. I love putting an octopus on a pipe, to do like some like a sea style, like where this new technique a buddy taught me to do an implosion where it looks like these little anemones are coming out the peas. Give me one moment, I'll give you a little glimpse on that to give you an example of. And that's where unfortunately, my buddy Richard, getting all upset and dropping his piece. But look in there, where there we go. It's more like a kind of like a seascape in
Oh
there, or
yeah,
like almost like a little coral scape in there. And then where the octopus is supposed to sit up like that, but he broke it off. So that's my job to put it back on. But that's a neat, nice thing for, it's not broke. We're gonna fix that.
yeah. And to do a quick fix like that, how long would that take you once you have in your hand in front of the flame?
The longest part, honestly, is the heating up in the kiln. So it gets to temperature, and at that point, I should be able to. A couple ways to do it. I could grab it with the hot fingers and then kind of attach it to the piece. I could add a punty to it, to like take an extra rod and attach that rod to it, and able to that being my handle versus using the tool. The application itself to put back on, heating it up both because it's going to warm up in the kiln, getting them both together about 5-8 minutes, to get them both the temperature, connect them, and let it relax, rest before it gets reintroduced to the kiln. From that point, per se, thing as for any repairs, you do want to make sure they're clean because it'll start to smell like your mom's weed in the house if you don't clean that piece. It gets all like the resin burn
Yeah,
underneath.
it
We
does.
don't we don't want that in the kiln. It's kind of like, ew, like, just yeah, it's a little funky. So, and it doesn't have to be, like A+ clean kind of thing is good. Where we just don't want to burn that excess off in the kiln. Sometimes it just can damage the internal units to say, but also things to think about for somebody's like, hey, can you make that carb bigger? Hey, can you make that bowl hole bigger? Yeah, once it's in like the repair shop, fuck, we can cater it to your desire.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And what would you say the most advanced piece that you've done to date is?
Um, well, there's a few different directions as for sometimes it's size in a sense. Like I've done about a 4-inch marble now, which my buddy Ryan's doing bowling balls, so like I look up to him and inspired to, do larger things sometimes. So when I got the 4 inches on a marble, I was thinking I was tits. Um, Other than that, to be able to make a bong has been like holy shit. Like I really never thought I'd be doing this back in high school. It's like I've been making little to say small pieces in the workshop forever,
Yeah,
but to actually utilize the torch and make things happen, I never thought I'd really be making a. My buddy's like, put a Redskins logo on there. That's gonna be my new favorite piece, and it's like, holy moly! Like you just made my heart smile. That's
yeah,
amazing.
that's
Like I
awesome.
can do that kind of thing. So like, and that's my buddy Blake. He's over there in Nebraska now. So well, he'll be best in. He's got a sister over here. I won't talk about Blake right now. He's awesome, love him. But like he's been like one of my biggest supporters. Like do this, do this. Why can't you do this? And I'm like, fuck yeah. There's no reason I couldn't. It's about signing yourself up to make it happen. And that's where
How
I've done
about
some cool
commitment?
pieces for Dad. I'd like to make a chandelier one day, but we're going to need a bigger unit to make sure it all anneals properly. And that's right. My kiln space is to say limited.
Yeah, no, we got another question from Curly Leaf. And yes, he does put a craft mark on it. And if you go to his website, which we have in the comments earlier, it's going to be that smiley face. And that's how you're going to know you got an authentic piece from him.
And the
It's not
little
all
story behind that too.
Let's go for it.
That's where Dad, being another great supporter of mine, was like, you should sign your name on every single piece, and we can use a little titanium pen to basically etch, a signature into the glass, but it's almost negligible. If you look for it, you might be able to find it, sure. But then again, I'm thinking like nobody wants to see my name written on their piece. That just seems silly. So I just tagged it with a smile one time, and he goes, "Huh, I like that." So, and it's from there. So it was Dad saying, "Yes, please, son, you need to let your work be known. Give it some accoutrement that they can know it's from you, one way or another." And that's where, boom, when they see that smiley face, sometimes I'll see pieces from 10 years ago, and I'm like, damn, you do still have that. That's awesome. It's very, very rewarding to, have that little bit on there. And am I the only one putting a smile on a piece? No. But I kind of know where I put them, so I can, if you were to show it to me, like, oh, no, I would never put it there. But yeah, it's either there or there. It's boom, household at that point.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome that your dad's a huge supporter. And you have a very close relationship with your dad, and I think it's really cool because this is also from a time period which we'll be getting into a little bit is starting to talk some about the negative challenges of running a glass business pre
Oof.
legalization
Yeah.
and being on the road and being known for selling glass and being targeted. What's that like?
When I first got into it, it still was a little bit hush hush, but we were coming out of the funk, to say. I remember old Operation Pipe Dreams. I think it was about
What are they
2002
for?
or so, where Chong and Jerome
Yep.
Baker, those guys had a little bit of compromised situation for their operation. And silly as it was, for them just having an establishment, maybe it was California, Oregon, Colorado, but then shipping them to a state that did not allow that. That's what I basically understand the long and short of that story. But that's where things were like basically, you got to have a secret name or be hush hush about it. By the time I was getting into it, things were getting a little bit kinder, but at the same time, it was still very gray area. And that's where even to sign up for my LLC, I wanted to talk to a lawyer to be like, am I doing everything right? I'm not selling tobacco, but you kind of want to call it a tobacco piece. But what do I do right in all this? And that's where to just understand and know your state laws 100%. And to be honest, sometimes less is more. Where it's like it's not a tobacco piece until you put your fucking tobacco in there. And I don't know why anybody want to do that. As I digress on that one. But that's where to think about doing just things proper. Always pay your taxes. Be pumped on, to ask your, since if you have a business, you need an accountant. Ask questions, let them help you. Hey, is this possible? Hey, is this possible? What can I do to help better the business? How do I run it so it is not so much kicking me in the ass all the time? Because a lot of times being, as we call it sometimes starving artists, you're spending 4 to make 3, but sometimes, when you sell that badass piece, put it on somebody's table and, they become your new best friend, the relationships and things that I've developed along the way have been over the top tremendous and enjoyable for just going to a little bit of art music festival, such like my favorite band Litz, to make them a pipe that was all hollow that said Litz. I'm like, I didn't think I'd be doing that 10 years ago. Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, like I can actually, cater to make other people smile. And that's, where I basically run into it for the smiles. If I can make one person smile a day, I usually aim for 3. That's my most important thing about getting into this, to share it, to get people interested and answer any kind of questions. And if I don't have the best answers, I want to direct you to maybe that person that does.
Yeah, I definitely like that because it really shows a lot about the community. It shows a lot about the world, how we're evolving, how we see cannabis, and to go from a place where it's like hush hush, and then people are like Operation Pipe Dream, and like Tommy Chong, who didn't even make bongs, had to spend time in jail because they were going to go after his entire family if
Have the
they
name
didn't.
on there. Yeah.
And it's so stupid because at the end of the day, this is glass. Just like with a gun, you gotta add something to it. It doesn't operate on its own. So just like when people saying, "Oh, gun rights," and trying to take that away, it's like, well, remember, there's still a person that has to use it. You know what I mean? So I agree with that. I thought that was so dumb, and I watched that documentary about Tommy Chong, and it was just crazy, and they targeted the person. They actually harassed the guy in Pennsylvania, and he sold, like, I think, like, one bomb, you know what I mean? And it's just dumb, so it's cool to see that, but it's also cool to see that you believe in your art, you believe in that your creativity enough to want to push those boundaries, especially during those times, especially in small beginnings, so, like, if you could look back now, what would you say the biggest, like, takeaway from that time period would have been?
In the past 12 years, I wouldn't call it so much a takeaway, more of a work in progress. This formulating project to have so many new surrounding friends, people, ones that are interested, kind of thing. That's what gets me fired up day in, day out. Like I'm actually putting pipes on dispensary shelves these days, which is tremendous. It's like, wow, I really, think I was going to be doing some little rinky dinks, this and that. No, I actually know how to do work that is enjoyed in a sense by many. To get that rewarding.
Yes.
Wow, you made that. I love that. That's my favorite piece. I use that almost every day.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. That turns me up right there. That's where that just feeds into. All right, sometimes my day, I got a few things to do in the morning, but it's like I can't wait to get back to the kiln, see what I made yesterday, and then fuck yeah, let's try to do something like that or something new today. That's the best, biggest idea how it rides with me.
I think that's cool, and that's why vision is so important. Being able to see things in your mind before they actually happen, because Steve Harvey said your imagination is just a preview to life's coming attractions. And I firmly believe that. And what you say, what you think, believing in yourself, even if you don't see it in the beginning, that constant progression, wow, looking back, I never thought I would be here. I never thought I would do this. It's a very rewarding thing because, like I talk about it a lot of times too, is, they say the graveyard is one of the richest places in the world. And the graveyard is where ideas, creations, things that died with people that never came to light, all because of whatever reasons. And when you chase something and pursue it, you know, and you build it with your hands and you put your love and sweat equity into it, it becomes more than just an item. It just becomes more than just a physical thing. I believe it's honestly like a spiritual experience. Being able to live out your dreams and your creativity, and like you said, having people appreciate it. Saying, "Oh my God, you made this. This is yours." Like, no way. That's awesome. It's just
Turn you up,
absolutely.
turn you up,
You know.
absolute.
So we have a couple more questions here. Do you have a favorite style piece to make?
I am a sucker for dichro, the sparkly stuff. I do love some crushed opal too, but the material is uber expensive, so I'm not always making that kind of style. Do love me some dichro. Other than that, just like the piece that you have, that little sunglass water pipe, to say bubbler. That's the kind of thing I use on my bench typically day in day out. For like had, I had bought one of those a little bit smaller style. I'm gonna say all good 2007 or 8, and loved it. But it just always got a little bit dirty too fast for me, and that's where it's like, cool. Let me try to recreate that idea, and just to and that's where, yes, keep your piece clean. 99% isopropyl alcohol does help. Let it soak. Extra salt, shake it up. Those kind of things to keep your piece clean, but doing it every day like I should. So the piece that you're using right there, that is one of my most favorite styles to make indeed. Other than that, I would say I like trying to make bigger bongs, but being that I don't have a lathe, my scope's a little bit limited. So that's where I'm ever trying, and I'll grab you one right here I did recently. That's pretty cool. In a sense, for a cool custom for a friend that I hadn't heard from in fucking years. And then all of a sudden his wife gets a med card and is like, can you make me something with what's it called, a lily, the lily flower, I think. But that's pretty cool.
That's right, dude.
She wanted gray and purple. So I mean, that's where it got the little hollow, not hollow, it is hollow, yeah, but it's more translucent kind of purple in the section there with the little neck with the wig wags kind of thing. I'm pleased with this one, for it's like sometimes I think I do a neat job when friends request. And that's the kind of shit that makes you smile, kind of thing. It's like, holy shit, like, I haven't heard from you in years. You actually smoke weed now? Yay, I'll make you a bong.
Yeah. No, that is super cool. I love the design. 804, one of my good friends, he wants to know, do you perform drop tests on your piece? How durable are these compared to like something that's $10 worth?
In a sense, if it breaks, you don't want that one. And if it does break, I do want to know why. And there are some, say, considerable factors of whether the glass is, to say, a little bit thick or thin. There are times to say, sometimes you get one bounce off the floor, but at that point the molecules are vibrating. So if it does strike the ground a second time, that's where it'll shock and have cause. To say, I like to try to make like my hand pipes, this durable, where you should be able to skip that thing across the pavement and have no problem. The thing about glass, I like what my friend Ryan says, and this is just being 100% honest, it's not a matter of if but when, or when but if. I always get that backwards, but it's like it is glass, it is a liquid, it is ever moving. So yes, you should have some strength and durability about it. All of a sudden, when we start doing some fancy things, like adding that flower to the back of that bong, in my heart, like, you go and bump that against, the counter, a pedal could fall off. These things can, have, such a break. But the nice thing is we can go back and fix it typically. But to say, to test them out and to have them, tested for stress fractures, I love having a case of pipes and shaking them up around each other, and whatever one breaks, you don't want that one. And that's where, of course, if things break, I do like to guarantee all my work. And it's like where, of course, if you dropped it on the tile floor and shattered to a bunch of pieces, that's kind of on you. But if there is one little mishap and I can put it back together, all work guaranteed, and it goes right back to you, I want to get it back to a spec, to say.
No, I agree with that, and that's honest, and I like that. You know what I mean? And I do think that analogy of it's not about if it's going to break; it's just a matter of when. It's very true because on some of my pieces are broken because not because of the quality of the glass; it's because I'm clumsy too. And one time I was hitting the bong, and for whatever reason, I just let go, and it went smashed all over the ground.
Well, I want some of that.
What?
I'm just messing with you.
Oh.
That's the shit that killed Elvis.
Yeah, I'm the shitter.
I tell you.
So let's talk about mental health. As you know, my podcast, SmokeBusters, is all about mental health, clarity, mindset. How do you use cannabis personally, and what originally got you into cannabis?
Well, see, there I was minding my own business, and cigarettes were just kind of gross. And I remember my buddy was like, "I think we could get some joints," and I'm like, "I don't know. I'll ask my big cuz kind of thing, and like just to put the feelers out there." It was months later. We had something turn up, and it was like, wow, this is kind of fun and amazing. It was like to say a weekend, sometimes here and there throughout the getting into high school kind of thing. From there, as I got a little bit older, closer to being an adult, I found that it helps. you know, and as I mentioned this earlier, it activates my bowels. You know, it makes me want to
Oh,
laugh. It makes me want to get something to eat. It makes me want to drink. It has me sit at the stop sign a little bit longer and be like, oh, okay, it's your turn. It's your turn. You go ahead. It's your turn. So that's where it's like, oh, fuck, dude, you can't do that. You know, you're holding up the lunch line. But the same breath for, I like how it's able to connect with other people in a sense where, you know, there's a lot of times to say, you know, you go out and meet people. Yeah, you know, you might shoot the shit, this and that, but to actually sit down and smoke a joint, to smoke a bowl with somebody, it's like you might learn something new about their well-being. You know,
yeah,
their whole, you know, perspective on fuck. I never thought of it that way, and to enjoy cannabis for that factor that it's a almost like the gorilla glue to form some new relationships kind of thing, you know. And that's like I don't think I know one person that I can get down and smoke a bowl with that I'm like upset with versus like I hate going to the friend or I hate going to the bar with that friend because they just get stupid kind of thing. And that's where
yep,
there is a difference of to where, you know, the drinking and the smoking and, you know, people, whatever they do. The medical marijuana, the recreational marijuana typically has always guided me into a grilled cheese and tomato soup, you know, kind of thing. You know, those little, you know, elixirs of life that just kind of help make things happier, to say the least. And that's, you know, I remember Mom saying it'll never be legal in your lifetime, and well, you know, here, Mom was wrong on that one. So, you know, we're getting better all the time
that
for things
reminds
and
me.
now rescheduling things and all that.
That reminds me of the Water Boy. Mom was wrong again.
Mm-hmm. And little girls are the devil. So,
That's right. And you'll never just be walking around with a calculator in your pocket. Yeah, yeah. Now we have one. Now we got a phone, the internet. Well, all those things that they said we never have.
they say you got a better, you know, chance of becoming an excellent plumber if you know the metric system like us medical marijuana smokers seem to do.
Oh yeah, oh
So,
yeah.
how many grams is in an ounce though?
28.
That's what I always thought too. And that's where like some people's like, no, it's 30, and I'm like, you might be right. I don't know.
I think it's 28 point something, 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 something. Let's
I'm like,
ask ChatGPT.
fuck yeah. Like here I am asking for a friend, and I'm like,
See, honestly, I use ChatGPT more than Google because Google will give you links where you got to go find the information. ChatGPT will just give you the answer. Approximately 28.35 grams.
so it is closer to 28 on the round down.
28.3, right?
That's yeah,
Yeah,
my
35.
buddy over here, fucking Mr. Bill Nye, the science guy with all the knowledge, fucking genius. He's like he goes 23, like he's over here listening to us having fun. As you might see him go back and forth to killing every once in a while. That's a banana glass. Brian, he does some awesome vape devices to say, and that's like kind of his to say scope of practice for what he makes over here on the torch. You know, you can put those in the tiny mic. What's the other one that you use?
Dynavac.
The Dynavap, those kind of things.
Well, that's pretty cool. What's his website? Plug it for us so they
What's your
can.
website, brother?
I just have like an Instagram.
Was it?
Instagram at
Hookah Head MD.
Hookah Head. Hookah, like one of them old Indian style devices. Hookah Head MD.
Okay. Yeah, make sure to follow both of them, Glass Flow Art and Hookah Head MD.
Yes,
MD
please.
standing for Maryland. You know, it's kind of funny. You're just like over the bridge from me, so it's not. It's, I think you're what, an hour and 30 minutes, maybe.
It probably took longer to get to DC than it would to, you know, find you this side of the thing. You
DC
know,
for DC
shoot
for
up
me is 45.
9515 is it's pretty quick.
DC is 45 minutes from me.
Okay, you're a little bit closer there. It takes me about 50 to get there, an hour at least, depending on what part.
Nice. Well, I want to set up where I come and we do some glass blowing in person. I do want to talk to you about. So what I want to create is my face with the hat. You know, obviously the yellow hat, and I want to make a whole like instead of like having a chrome or silver like piece, it's what I wear at events, and it's like my avatar.
I mean, when you're doing this, that looks pretty massive. Like, not like,
Okay, well, we can give me a proper size. We can do like this size or like that or
and it's
whatever.
like I said, something like your script there, but like pendant size, like wearable.
Just a little bit more, just like maybe like 4 inches.
That's doable.
Yeah, it's nothing too extreme. No, I want a whole like clock, so I can be like Flavor Flav, all in glass, and then I can move the time to 4:20 in front of people.
Nothing's impossible. Sky's the limit, space is no
You're the
place.
man
As
that
the
would make
great
it
Will
happen.
Smith
If there's
said.
anybody that was going to make that happen, no, I'm just joking about that.
That's right. I guess it would be like just to have a little hollow hole in the back, and we just use a regular clock mechanism to tie it in there. Mixing the mediums, that's okay too. A lot of times people are like, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's okay to put some glass with some copper, some silver, some electroforming to wire wrap it, like to say, like I've seen some cool pieces that are like, in a sense, clay or, the ceramic, and then you can add a glass piece to that you can make it function. And that's what the
Yeah, yeah.
cool thing about it all the time. There really is no limit. It's just about what else can we do with this too.
No, definitely agree with that. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting because there would be a lot of pieces that have to make it like work functional. But yeah, no, I want to come up with the mask thing. I think that would be so cool to walk around with my own custom little emblem at the shows. But I really do like this. This thing is pretty cool. It's got a little doubling. Pretty unique.
Yeah, we just kind of whether we do the white or black, and just kind of time the squares, get your fucking shades on, and then like a yellow beanie to run through. That's where the chain would hang, to say.
Well, it's not a beanie. It's a baseball cap. And then on my logo, uh,
Baseball caps cost more. Sorry. I'm just
uh,
fucking with you.
uh,
I'm just fucking with you.
yeah, and then with this, there would be no sunglasses. It's just the face. Because on the cartoon, there's no face to it.
And that's, ode to check out the cartoon to cater upon the idea. That's one of the greatest things that when people do try to share something, I will honestly try to look at some animation to help that happen.
Yeah.
It just kind of helps to create the idea for, there are people out there that can do some amazing spot on it. Look, that does look just like a giraffe or a gorilla kind of thing, but at the same time, man, the intense amount of work that goes into that, that's where I'm always looking up to these Olympians, as I call them, these amazing artists that just blow my mind.
No, the amount, and that's why I said, you know, if you haven't seen glass blowing, you should attend one of these events, like champs. Um, the amount of talent, even with Kyle over here, just the amount of talent and the creativity that comes out of the minds is just incredible. Like some of the things you never thought could be made possible with glass. You know, detail and the
Absolutely
precision,
ridiculous.
like
Just mind blowing.
insane, like lifelike, like
Yeah,
almost like more than just like a glass. It's incredible. I watch this guy who does it with cakes. He's just like chef, and he does all these cakes, and some of them are functional cakes where they actually have moving parts and everything, and just that's what I'm saying, dude. The mind is just such a powerful thing, and when you can unlock creativity, working with your hands, making one of a kind things, in your mind. I mean, that I feel like, and that's where you really just live life, is in those moments, when you're
yeah.
just creating whatever it may be.
Starting to put these things together, and it's just like, wow, like that's where they're bringing up again. That's where, like, for my couple first 3 years, like, wow, okay, it takes the different pieces to put all that together. It's not like it just happens at once. You got to make this, got to make this, got to make this, and then you start to put it all together to assemble kind of thing. And that's where, man, it's ever neat, ever fun, and possibilities just grow.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is the part of the interview where I want to open it up to you. And if there's anything that we haven't talked about or you want to discuss or teach us, we have lots of viewers here that love knowledge. So if there's anything that, you can show us or educate us on, this would be the time.
Well, if you really want to get into this, you got to quit video games, you got to quit disc golf, you got to quit fucking your wife, you got to
Uh,
basically take time for yourself to start to build. And no, that's not all true. You can do all those things the above. To cater to the idea that you want to have fun with it, start to do things that you like with it. Start to do things that you maybe know how to do or want to try to do, and then don't never limit from there, but start to grow from that idea. Ask questions. There's so many people out there that are willing to share, but unless you say, hey, how did you do that? They're not just going to go and tell you kind of thing. So to definitely
yeah.
be friendly, like you go out and shake those hands to meet people. They're like, hey, I see that you did that. That's badass. Can you tell me more about that? Those little things to be comfortable to talk to people is difficult sometimes for myself. That's where you got to, put, so to say, put your big boy pants on and, be that person that you want to be. Start to access those channels that can open up. Sometimes doors close, but windows open. That's where, I knew I wasn't going to be happy, you know, serving beers and coffee all my life. That's where it's like I got to find something else to do. So to get on the torch, it gives me something to do every day. I'm happy, fortunate to share with anybody for the sake of building my studio. We're coming in 12 years now. It doesn't happen overnight. I got buddies that'll just set up a table, pop it up. They got their K tank, their propane tank. They'll do, a few marbles pennants for the day, and they're happy. They're able to make things work, and that's where the best thing to be able to do for yourself is if you want to, just put that foot forward and try, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no right way, there's no wrong way. You might have a better way, and if you do, fuck yeah, that's where I'm trying to learn how you did that. That's where we're all in this medium to call it lamp working versus glass blowing, to say about 100 years new into it. So there's so many new techniques and styles and things happening all the time. Where that's where people ask me what I specialize in. I'm not really good at specializing. I like to keep it all over the map. One thing that Ronnie did tell me: if you want to get good at something, do that for a month. Continue to do that. Practice that every day. You'll get that muscle memory. You'll get that routine. You'll get that idea of how it just kind of starts to formulate and happen. Almost like to say playing an instrument, where it is very ambidextrous what we do here. With both hands, where if I'm spinning with one hand, all of a sudden I got to add color with this hand. So we're always doing things together, to say the least. And that's where the more that you practice, of course, the better you're going to get. And to practice those things that you like and want to do, I tell you, it's changed my life, and it makes me happy. To be out at a cool show like fucking Bats Weenie Roast and cross paths with you. This kind of shit changes my life. So 100% go for it. It's your day.
Yeah, no, perfect words. You really got to go for it. That's why Billy Joel has the song Vienna, and in the song, the lyric goes, "You can get what you want in life, or you can just get old." And you really got to put yourself out there. You got to take chances. You don't know what can happen. I mean, I've been growing weed for 3 years, and I'm on the 15-state, 12-month tour right now. You don't know what can happen. You just got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in the ability to be okay with failure and learning and failing again and learning again, and get comfortable with the fact that this whole perception of perfect, it doesn't actually exist. It exists in, like, you know in a false narrative. Life is about experiences, and when you can engage other people and change their experience, like something as little as just coming home and smoking, and now they got a glass flow art piece that they've been waiting to smoke on all day, and and now that final thing that they come, and it's because of your art, your creativity, and you're one of the last things they do before they go to bed each night. Inadvertently, it's use your a product of yours, and I think that's the beautiful thing is when you can create something that's of so much value that people use it and they benefit from it and they see the value, and that's why we have customers and viewers and subscribers. It's creating that real authentic community and problem solving and all those great things.
Absolutely, absolutely. The whole thing about what we're doing, the artistic side, there is the lamp working and glass blowing side in a scientific realm where everything can be perfect, and that's just setting up your formulas, getting the right size tubing, getting the right heat, and you do everything the same way. So, that's just another style how to make things happen.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm going to have a smoke session with everybody. I'm going to bring Gronomics in. Gronomics is my mod. What up, dude?
What's
He
up?
also
Hey,
had some questions, so
what's going on, my brother?
if you didn't have them answered. And grab out your bomb, go to Glassflow Art on their website and check out their pieces. He does ship all over the United States, so he can definitely get to you.
I've got some in Spain. I've got some in Australia. I'm getting global.
Dude, I'm proud of you, man. It's just cool to be your friend and to from shooting your wedding to just knowing each other. It's just a great experience. I'm just so proud of you, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that because, when I first started doing this, I thought I'd just be fiddle fucking around. And it's like one of my most favorite stories to say, I got two in the same, but my brother helped me build the studio, and he was like looking over my shoulder after a little while, and he goes, if you suck this bad in 6 months, you might want to think about doing something else.
That's how my
no better than a big brother to put it fucking forward,
Yeah, dude.
And then my daughter, about 2-3 weeks later, she comes downstairs and goes, "Dad, what are you making?" I said, "I don't know, honey. I'm still trying to figure this out." She goes, "Well, when are you going to get serious?"
Damn.
I thought I was kind of like that was within first year kind of thing, but that little kick in the ass, like, you know what? You are learning, you are growing, and start to, make those things happen that you like to. And it was not the first year that I was on the torch, but the following summer where I did my first art music festival, Camp Barefoot, and they were just receiving so much kind and oh, wait, you make to actually share my work, and people were buying my pipes. So it's like, fuck yeah, this is tooting my horn right here. I love it.
That's awesome, dude. And it's so crazy because my son, who's almost 9, this month will be 9.
All fucking ready. Jeez, right? Hello, Logan.
Yeah,
get bigger all the time.
You got big so fat. How old's your daughter?
Fucking 20.
Damn, dude.
I don't got kids. I got adult.
Adult. Yeah, I still got adult. Exact same thing. Sometimes he says things like that that are so profound, and I'm like, what? You're 9. Like, what do you mean? Like, how do you? Like, one time he told me he understood, and I'm like, what? Like, so it's just crazy. I love kids like that. Sometimes they're the ones that really put you on your feet. It's like, okay.
Yep. And they also, I don't know, they just remind you sometimes too, just of, life sometimes.
Yep. No, 100%, dude.
There'll be times I'm driving on the road and I'm, I got my son in the back seat and I'm getting ready to start some road rage and then I remember, my son's with me and it remembers me, you know what, calm down, get some reassurance.
Yeah.
How old's your boy?
He just turned 3.
30?
3.
3. Oh, I was like, you don't look that old. no way. My ears don't always work that well. So 3, that's badass. I'm telling you, to enjoy them at that age, I don't even record some of this shit. You get the best comedy. You get they just tell you how it is, kind of. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So that's why they had that TV show, which I wish they still had, which is kids say the darndest things.
Will Pudding Face. Bill Cosby. That shit was hilarious. That's for sure.
So now, if you guys have any more questions, let's hear them. Also, you do custom orders, so if you guys want something custom, like I'm going to be getting, reach out to him as well. Because
That's the idea. Yes, please reach out anytime. Happy to cater to text, email, phone conversation, by all means.
yeah, Snapchat, whatever. I'm just kidding.
I don't have the Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat either. I never really got it. It's like I can send photos through text.
I had an ex-girlfriend ask me if I had that one time, and from that point, I felt like it was kind of a bad idea.
Like for dick pics.
I
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's where it's like, yeah, I know. I have the Instagram. It doesn't notify me. I have the Facebook with my name, Kyle Truth. That's me. But the best way, is I guess the website, glass-flow.com, glassblow@yahoo.com, and we can post my phone number if you want to. I don't care. You can call me 24 hours a day. I just might not answer.
Bam! We got it right here for you.
Look at that fucking turkey neck. God bless him.
So let's go over some of your pieces real quick and see what you got. So
That's the Charlie Brown Christmas tree in the middle.
these are dragon rollers. So you make these too?
My buddy Ryan, I'm his to say guy that gets those out there for him, kind of the middleman. For he doesn't like to do anything but machine, so that's where I'm his.
So you remember earlier
out there.
If you remember earlier, Kyle was talking about doing ornaments for the wedding. These
Yep,
are
done
some
those kind of thing. As you know,
Yep.
little penguin. I've got some gnome. I've got a crab in there. The characters are fun, but they can be tricky for sure. There's one of my more favorite projects right there. You just brought up.
Which one?
Penguin?
Like the little, or just the ornament with the included character on the inside.
Now, how does that work?
Magic and science.
So
Now, but basically what I'll do is I'll create the image or the character kind of thing, and then from there I need to create a small flare kind of thing where on the end of the blow tube where it's looks straight but it has a little flared end to say. Hack that off, put the character on there, attach that into the globe, and then heat that all up without that character touching the wall and blow it out.
interesting. Okay.
Timing is everything in those. They can be a little tricky, but really one of the cooler things that I've ever had fun doing, to say the least. It's one of those projects that are just what else can we put in there? I guess dysfunctional for you can't put your weed in there, but
Have you ever?
You don't always do that.
Have you ever made like a snow, what are those things called? Like a that you shake
Snow
or whatever.
globe.
Yeah, snow globe.
The snow globe. I have done some, as we call them, like the glitter-filled pipes kind of thing. It has the chamber of the liquid and the glitter running through it. So to say a snow globe, no. I have done a massive. I tried to do a cup once for my wife that was about this large. It's to put one thing in the other. That way we injected it with a little propylene glycol mix, so you could shake it up and have a little glitter floater reaction going on in there. So very similar to a snow globe, but no. Did you want one?
I was just curious. Now, this is
That's
an
cool.
interesting piece that Madman has pulled up right here that I'm looking at.
That was for Colleen's buddy Keith, and that is an awesome one where it's just can you kind of put a skull on an inline, and I want it to recycle, and I'm like, I was just say green a couple years new making that one where I love that idea. I might want to revisit that. Years.
That's funny as shit. You're like, that's a great design. I think I'm gonna go back to that.
Yeah. Why didn't I make more of those?
I know, right? You haven't seen the website? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but usually Meredith took care of that for me. She was like, "Oh, I got all kinds of stuff on there," and I'm like, "I only see 5 things," but I'm a little bit primitive on my to say even looking at the stuff that I do, and that's where
Even the
people can look
wine
at my
stuff
site
that
and
we
see
was
some
talking
things
about.
that I do, but everything's different every day. It's like not that I can't recreate that, but I don't exactly have that on the shelf again yet.
Oh, look at this. Even makes wine stoppers. That's pretty
Oh
tight.
yeah, I got another gang of those just lined up, signed up for sure. Where
Now
we'll put
that's
them.
something you don't see a whole lot.
That's pretty cool.
I call them lush stoppers, but wine stopper's cool.
Yeah,
That's
that's neat. I like that.
These are my
Wow.
more favorite ones that I've
Oh,
been doing
look,
recently.
mushroom. Woo.
I like the
Yeah, the mushroom
mushroom.
ones are cool.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
These dichro ones are fun. I like.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I like the split.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I'm trying to make new stuff all the time, every day. That's I if I don't have that on the shelf, I'm like, man, I need to bulk up that inventory.
And then over here, we got some pennants, which look pretty fucking cool. Look at this shit.
Oh wow.
That's amazing.
That's the mushroom in space. So yeah,
And then
we
we
got
have,
these. I just started to make these. They're like little boomers there, little mushrooms, and then I can put a little mushroom inside, and then you encapsulate the mushroom in case of emergency. You break that glass.
take the mushroom.
Yeah,
We got this awesome turtle. I love the little honeycomb. How does the honeycomb work?
Wow.
the honeycomb is a lot of times fuming the glass, and then the silver gets trapped around that color to create those cells.
Yeah, the
To
galaxy
say the
one is
least.
dope.
It's a definitely a fuming process to. I mean, because of course we just mashed all the colors together the same, but when you line it with the silver or gold or any other kind of fuming element, that would allow it to separate. That way, you kind of get those little, the honeycomb, the cell captures, like as you see it.
Interesting.
That's what's up. Dude, this is really cool. Yeah, guys, you definitely have to go check him out. All right, so as we wrap this up, how can we find you and support you? Obviously, we have the website, social media, Facebook, you have
There's,
LinkedIn,
that's.
Twitter.
Uh, I don't know what. I mean, I've heard of Twitter. Why would I do that?
More exposure because see in marketing with what we teach our clients is not everybody's on the platform that you're on, so everybody deals with content differently, so this way you can maximize your reach and you'll reach a different demographic, and each platform has its like specialties, like with like TikTok and YouTube, but it's all about video. Instagram is more photos, Twitter is more about political, or if people care about what you have to say. You have Pinterest, which I think you would honestly do really good on Pinterest. So it's more and more ways
I'm
that
not
you're
very
custom.
political.
I'm not either. But that's what I'm on Twitter, and I am just reposting all my other
I
stuff.
like the
But
way you explain that because it just reaches out to another platform, allowing more people to reach you to find you.
yeah, no, I have a whole thing where I'm teaching marketing to everybody because that's what I do for a living. But the biggest thing is you need to set up an ability for people that don't know who you are to figure out who you are. And the biggest thing by doing that is photos, videos, content, putting that out there, So,
Putting it out there, kind of thing, and that's where I am piss poor at that, to say the least. Like once I take a photo, I'm usually like, I hate that thing, or I don't want to
okay,
share it, or it's
so,
like
so
I beat myself up on that one
okay,
too often.
so so I do the exact same thing, but here's the deal with that.
Yeah,
With
but your photos are really good.
Yeah, well, thanks. I've been doing it for a while, just like you with glass. Let me ask me
I
about
almost
my
made you laugh. I
glass.
can't see it there, but I almost got to laugh.
I'm smiling.
I'm
Ask
good.
me
That's all I
about
like to
my
hear.
glass skills. I'm not so good. I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is, when you're creating different markets, you're touching different people, and the value of that is immense because if somebody stumbles upon you, there's an
Super slow,
order.
bud.
And the biggest thing is it's organic, it's free, it's what you can control. And what I was going to tell you was, here's the secret of marketing. It's not about what it looks like, it's about the messaging, and like you're connecting and being authentic to the group of people that you're targeting. So with that being said, I take some photos and some videos that we post. I'm not exactly thrilled with them, but you know what? Content is content. And what you may not think is good, other people may really like, because it's you and it's your content. So you have to remember that all the times that it may not be perfect, but it's better to put content out there than not to put content out there at all, because you're hurting your community by not sharing. So worry less about what it looks like and more about the value proposition. The value is educating people, getting people to understand about glass, safety, what to look for, what is valuable glass, what is cheap glass, what should you, if you're out and they're not buying from you, you should do an episode on how you would buy a glass piece. If I'm at a market and I see something cool on the table, teach me about glass so I'm educated, so I don't make a bad mistake on how to do it. All this education, whether it's indirect or direct marketing to your brand or your business, is going to either empower your customer base, educate them, or get them to buy stuff. So there's other things when it comes to marketing than just your traditional sale. So the biggest thing is, how can you get people to care about glass? One thing you teach them about is how to spend their money wisely on glass. And as a glass blower, what is glass and what is quality? Just because it's shaped as an octopus, does it really make it $1,000? Is it what they use worth that $1,000? Are those real opals? Are those all these different things that that you've specialized in 2011? Use that as your forefront for your marketing. That's content. Everything is content. Take 30 to 60-second videos. Today, I broke this piece. I'm going to show you how to fix it in 60 seconds. Bam. You know how many people will watch that? Millions. You know what I mean? That's the
That's
true
the
definition.
idea.
Everything
Absolutely.
you do is content.
Yep. Agreed.
I love the way you can spit it out there like that, where it's like, I'd like to think I tell myself that every day. Do I actually make that happen every day? I should.
If you can make a goal to make one video a week, eventually you'll be able to make a goal for 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week. Start small. You don't have to do it. It's literally what you're doing right now. And pretend I'm not even here. And it's like, hey guys, Kyle from Glassflow Art. Today, I'm going to show you how I repair a broken bomb. And then you just film the whole process, and then you edit it down on your phone. And then that's 1 video a week. You're gonna commit yourself to 1 video a week. I commit myself to 2 lives a week that range from anywhere from an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. Because here's another thing: once you develop a following, and this is free education for people that are listening, people are going to want access to you a lot more. And the problem with YouTube and all the other things is these are already pre-made videos. People want to get to know the real you. They want to hear your conversations. They want to feel like they're standing behind you in your shop. So give them that experience. Allow them in. And in this way, everything that you do, hey, I'm going to work in the shop for a couple hours. Well, make a time lapse. Set the camera up, and that's your video for the week. And you're going to talk about, man, I had a lot of orders, and I did all this stuff, and I had this going on. That's content. It took no time at all. You just had the camera right there. So it's as simple as that. It's not like, damn, I got to shoot all these scenes, and I torment myself, and I'm eating my own words right now because I'm guilty of the same thing. I want to make it perfect. I think people should deserve a higher quality, but the case is, people would rather see you than this persona of perfect. You know what I mean? Because there's a time and place for it. If you're going to sell this bomb for $300, like what it would be worth or whatever the price is, then yes, you want a high-end video and you want some really good marketing and some flash, because now you're selling a product. But when it's you, people want that organic feel. They don't want all the dolled up cameras. They don't want all that. So there's a place where cell phone and then professional really play like a balanced split of content.
great doctor, terrible patient.
Yeah, I
As
am.
the
The
metaphor goes,
pipes
like
are always the
what you're
dirty.
spitting exactly. Yes, I should be doing that all the time. You are 100%.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do get stuck sometimes thinking, it's not good enough. And then like for instance, like Madman just said that too, like he, feels like that too. And then you said right after that, well, your pictures look great. So like other people might perceive it completely different than what you are. And I think a lot of people get stuck on that sometimes, and that's what stops
Yes.
people from doing things sometimes. So
No, so here's the thing. The biggest battles that you face in life are not in reality. They're in your head.
yep.
And as
Oh
somebody that
yeah.
is focusing on mental health exclusively with, I have my own therapist. I've had a lot of conversations. And by the end of this year, I probably had over 300 podcasts just this year alone, plus the 100 that I have had last year. So that means
Oh
in less
man,
than
that's
2 years,
fabulous.
I'm close to 500 podcasts.
Fuck
And
yeah.
I've learned a lot about mental health and wellness that is really, like, I feel has given me credibility in the community to really speak on it. I met a mother yesterday with a really sweet girl. Obviously, she has severe special needs, but they got a law together that allowed children access to cannabis, and they travel with cannabis all the time to help with the daughter's seizures. Amazing. There's just so many amazing people in the world, and to become one of them, you just have to put yourself out there. You have to start talking. You have to start sharing. Just like you said earlier, a lot of these people have advice, but unless you go up to them and ask them, they're not going to just tell you.
Yep.
It's
Yep. Absolutely.
uh, my manager for the roadshow, Brandon, always tells us if you don't ask, you don't get. And the biggest thing you can do is ask, and you'd be surprised. People want other people to succeed. Having other people that are specialized in the same field is not competition if you have the right heart and mind. It's actually diversity. It gives people options, but it also shows off craftsmanship, detail, all the things that would make you want to buy from the other guy versus this guy. And that's where I think, free market and everything, when you come out as a product or a brand, is so valuable because it's so free and it's what you make it. The problem is a lot of people want to do it for financials. And yes, I need money to do this. It's not a free thing. It costs a lot of money. By the end of the show, end of this year, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars will have been spent to make it all possible. But the value is we're creating value. So if you're creating value, your investments, the time, the energy, the love, the
You do.
passion that you put into it,
You do
it
that.
all starts to build. The thing is, a lot of us want instant gratification, and the thing that you really need to focus on is not like the outcome or the money. And I used to be guilty of this too, is how do I create value? If I can create value and people see value, I'll always be in business. I'll always have a customer base. I'll always have viewers. I'll always have people that listen. The thing is, a lot of times what we see is a flood of market where so many people are now coming to the cannabis space. A lot of them are just like the gold rush in California, are in it because they're trying to white label, they're trying to do all these things. And there's nothing wrong with, white labeling. I support that. If that's how you do your brand, if you don't have a Chinese facility that can knock out a million products for your consumers, you're going to need some help. There's a time and place for everything. But what I'm talking about is I'm talking about people who have no story. They have no vision. Their brand doesn't mean anything. It's as paper thin as can be, and it probably won't be here tomorrow. Versus somebody who has developed a brand or a product, and maybe it is white labeled, but they're solving a problem. They're coming up with a solution, and they're
Right.
doing it for the betterness of other people. Those people will always be around. And just like 2011 and now, it's a decade, and it just keeps on going. So that's the biggest thing. So I go on lectures with motivation and, getting people to think correctly because there's so many ways to see it. And then I feel like I have my opinion of it.
So what do you like to do that's fun?
Me,
Yeah.
I like to put on this mask.
Why not? All right. But at
um,
the same time, I know as you are and you do your photographies and things, like, I mean, I'm day in, day out doing glass. Like, do you have any extracurriculars that you like to do?
so like you, with except I still keep the wife around for good reason. I can't go without like you. But no, all I do is Good Luck Steph, our main production company, and then Madman Plant, and then I'm a dad to Logan, and that's
Okay.
it. I'm a soccer coach.
So you are
We're
just like kind of like grinding all the time.
Well, yeah, because I don't have another job. So if I'm not hustling, getting either sponsorships or making like more business deals with video production for different companies or stuff like that, the money stops. And I really don't like being broke. It's actually something I'm allergic to, believe it or not. And yeah, don't want to get a serious condition of it. But no, it is 100% hustle all the time, and that's what people. I think a lot of people don't understand too is when you're doing certain things, and you're the creator of it. So you're not working for somebody. This is your thing. Like it all stops and starts with you. You develop like this thing where you really don't know what to do outside of this. Like if somebody was like, "Oh, take the day off, don't even worry about good luck stuff," or "Madman Plant, we'll do everything you usually do," I'd be like, I don't know what to do anymore. You know what I mean? You just develop this thing where, like, I get to the point where, like, I don't even get up when the alarm clock gets up. I get up naturally, and I'm tired as everything, and I'm just so exhausted. And my mind and my body is like, get up, get up, get up, get up. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And they're like, it's like this force and this like thing in me that's like, no, we cannot sleep anymore. The day is here. We got to seize every opportunity because I have a goal in 10 years of the person that I want to be. And it's very much like my friend David, who I brought on for my millionaire mindset, which I'm having another one next Sunday. It was supposed to be this Sunday, but I didn't get everybody lined up. And then Kyle said yes, and I've been meaning to get Kyle on for a while, so it all just worked out. But next Saturday, I'll have the millionaire mindset again, which Kyle, you're more than welcome to be a guest because it's all for entrepreneurs and business owners. Um, what I was going to say was, shit, I lost my train of thought. Oh,
That's
you
okay.
get to
You're
a
doing
point.
great.
Oh, thanks, dude. You get to a point where you just realize the important things in life. And like my friend David, he works 2 to 3 hours a week on his business. He drives his Lamborghini. Not materialistic, but I do believe in investing in things like that because what it does is not it's not necessarily a status thing that I think of it as. I think it is a way to unlock doors to other people. If I join a Lamborghini club and I sit there with all the Lamborghini owners, what is the probability of me forwarding my business, my initiative, my goals, my influence when I have a bunch of other millionaire mindsets? And you don't need to be a millionaire to have a millionaire mindset. That's the whole point of this. Is except for David, nobody that I brought in, including me, is a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I would like to be, and if somebody wants to, give away a free million to a good cause, we'll make it happen. But my biggest thing is it starts from within, and that mindset is something that when, like as a mason, that's why I love Freemasonry so much. Is using the working tools, just like what you're doing there with your glass blowing. You're using the working tools of a glass blower, and you're molding, you're conforming, you're shaping, you're perfecting, you're sculpting the person or the glass piece that you want to see in your hands. And as like human beings, if we allow ourselves, we can do that with our mind. We can shape, and like my therapist tells me all the time, is life is a theater, and we are the main characters. And in masonry, it just happens to be a theater, and you're the main character. That's what they'll teach you in the lodge. um, and it's one of those things where if you allow yourself to let loose, the possibilities are endless. The problem is, it starts with nobody giving a fuck. It starts with 4 people watching your live video. It starts with all these different things, but the heart, the mind, the spirit, the creativity is always there from day one. And that's why I call it the millionaire mindset, because the millionaire mindset starts way before you ever get your first million. It's something that you can't buy. It's something that's developed, that's ingrained in you to say, no, I want better. I deserve better. And I'm going to sacrifice the fun for the work. So in 10 years, I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to do these things. I can go be me and have a blast. And guess what? It's all taken care of. And when I get back from Disney World, guess what? In 2 weeks, going to Costa Rica, never been. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it doesn't matter. It's not about the money. It's about the principle of self-development. And I think for me, that is so important for me that it's worth, just sticking to my business and my family. And honestly, I think that it keeps me safer. It keeps me in tune. It keeps me on track. When you deal with certain people and other influences, that can fuck up your progress, good or bad. You know what I mean? So just like the lock you put on your door, you need to put on your circle of influence. So yeah, for me, what I do for fun is build my future for my family and myself. That's all I think about is like, how do I make this podcast better? How do I make the people's experience better? How do I, make my business better? How do I make, my relationships deeper? How do I impact more people? So, yeah, I don't really have a life outside of Madman Plant. Sorry, I'm not that exciting, but my
You're
thing
you're
is,
you're you're passionate. That's over. There's no words to describe as the way you put the energy forward. That's amazing.
well, thanks, dude. I appreciate that because sometimes I think I'm crazy, and that's why I call myself Madman.
And then for the listeners out there, it's like to say there's a reason why Lamborghini doesn't have any commercials out there.
Well, you know why? Because most people that own Lamborghinis aren't watching TV,
That's right.
which makes a huge point. Which means instead of watching this goddamn live, you better go out there and do something with your goddamn life. I'm just kidding. Please watch the live. I need the
That's
viewers.
right. Like and subscribe.
I'm not gonna get monetized if you guys don't watch this. All of this would have been for nothing.
People are gonna call you crazy anyways, and you kind of have to be a little crazy sometimes to, you know, do some of these things.
Well, and I think too, it's less about your ability, but more about your consistency. If you can stick through certain things and like adversity and challenges and setbacks and failures and things that you thought were going to work out and be amazing, and all of a sudden they come crashing down on your face, if you can withstand all of that, you'll be in a much more better position in your relationships, your decision making, parenting. I think in a lot of the adversity and the tough things that we go through life, if we stop looking at them as negative and try to start looking at them as positive and realize that we're in control of our emotions, you just get to the point where it's like, you know what? I don't even give a shit. All right, what do we do to make it work? Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, well, how does it work again? And that's where, like, talking about like a hustler, kind of like you with your glass. If you're not out there pushing glass, you ain't. Oh, we lost him. His phone. You know what? I bet his phone died. I don't think it was plugged in. He'll be back, but it's actually good because we have 5 minutes anyways. But no, that's what I was just saying is, you just got to stick with it, and if you just started something, continue with it. It's the concept of just one more, and that's going to lead you to what you want in life. The biggest thing is people don't have a why factor. They don't really understand what they're doing. They don't care to know what they're doing. They just see other people do it. And I will tell you that this is a lot more work than it is just being on live videos. Being on cameras and making little videos is cool. The relationships, the people that we're touching, the impact that we're making, that's the stuff that's not always seen. And that's the stuff that, is is great because it's selfless. It's not always need for a camera to see everything. There's a lot of things that we can do that are on and off camera that are very, very positive. And I think the biggest thing too is we got to realize that people are hurting. This is a very tough time in the economy in the world right now, and not a lot of people to give a shit. So as a small community, especially one that's pushing cannabis for a lot of different reasons, we really need to be unified. We have a huge election coming up this year, and with Schedule 3, I have a podcast where we talk to some people about that. It really makes me nervous, and we're going to be talking more about other topics as well, like I said. But Schedule 3 may not be as good as we think it is. And, because the last time I heard, you couldn't make pharmaceuticals at home. So where does that leave a home grower who makes the medicine at home? And now that this is considered a medicine, what does that mean for big pharma? And then also, what does that mean for the sale price? Because, on my podcast in Baltimore, we talked about black market and how they're definitely black market plays a big role in creating an equal balance in between, weed costs for the streets and also for the pharmaceutical world. So it's very important to have both markets, whether you believe in a black market or not, it actually helps the economy of cannabis. So, my thing is I would like to see more home growers. So if there is a black market, you're getting it from somebody safe. When I went to the National Cannabis Festival, half the people imported all that weed. Oregon, Washington, California. Where's all the Virginia growers? You know how many growers are in Virginia right now alone? Like, why isn't that a thing? So, my biggest thing is I've always thought, and I've said this so many times, that they should create a grower's tax. So they actually give you money to grow weed, and what they collect from you would be all the stems and excess of the plant that you're not going to use, and they turn that into oils, textiles, schools, buildings, clothing, all the things that you can think of that take tons of resources and money to make, and they could be paying us just like a 5-cent Coke can money that would build toothbrushes. You build toothbrushes out of hemp. Hemp is one of the strongest fibers in the world. And, there's just so many growers, and think about all the money that could be made and how that can help economies, especially people that don't have jobs. Well, now you can help the world by growing weed at home. So kind of like that Martin Luther King, I have a dream. But Kyle, we got 3 minutes left. Let's get you back in here real quick.
We had a minor malfunction, but I'm back.
Did your phone die?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. You hit the red on that one, that's for sure, or the green, however you want to call it. As you know, I'm hell, I don't talk to many people this long or leave the phone on this powered.
That's because I'm good at what I do.
Thanks for being here, making all this happen, kind of thing. Thanks to everybody for checking it out.
Well, it's good conversation. You're a great person. I've known you for a while now, and it's actually great to sit down here on the podcast with you and chat it up. And now there's more motivations to get over there in person and do an in-person little video with you. Show everybody Madman Plant blowing some glass there.
I got me a little clone like this. It's pretty cool.
Oh, do you actually?
I'm minor, primitive. My education is, needing some attention, to say the least.
Well, you do know I teach people how to grow weed, so I will definitely help you get set up. I'll get you all the right setup to get you really going. If you have a clone, that's great. You definitely have a nutrient line.
I got the Nectar of Gods formula going on.
Okay, yeah, as long as you're feeding it, it's looking good. But all right, guys.
Grow it in the ground, and the dirt gives birth. If we grow it out of love, out of God's green earth, the brother crest and chronic. Forgive me.
My guest, you will stay on after we get off. Everybody else, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you. Reach out anytime. You want to do a giveaway or something? Should we give away a pipe to your followers?
Yeah, let's fucking do that. For the people that are on, we got a giveaway now. All right, let's do this.
Just gotta, like do a random fucking lottery of something. Well, let me find something in the shop to get to one of your avid listeners.
Avid listeners,
I like that.
giveaway time. And see, that's exactly why I don't announce giveaways, because this way, the people that actually stay on and actually give a shit, I want you guys to win, not just random people that just come in here for shits and giggles. I really care about my community, and I really want to be different as the kind of the voice for reason those that don't have it, especially when talking to great people who have really gone through traumatic things. And the beautiful thing is Lacey, my beautiful wife, is coming on and sharing her story. So I cannot wait to interview her like I have done so many other great guests.
Yeah, that's a super shout out to Lacey. She's been my therapy sometimes. She can take an earful and just smile, and I adore her. You're blessed.
I thank you for saying that. I always tell her she is the greatest decision I've ever made.
That's whew, I don't as a Celine Dion, boom 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 boom, take my breath
So
away.
glass flow art, hashtag that baby. We got a giveaway.
Should we do a nectar collector or a pipe? What do you think?
Let the audience decide.
So I got some nectar collectors right here, and I got this a Jack Skellington pipe, or a more like this one looks pretty fire in itself, but you never know. You could get a mystery bag coming at you.
Maybe we'll do 2 giveaways. Giveaway each item. This way it'll make it fun for the audience. Can I run 2 giveaways at one time? We're gonna find out here.
You're about to break the internet, I tell you.
All right, let's see. This is running hashtag bongs. Yeah, it works. I can do 2 giveaways at one time. Oh, I'm the first person on the Steam yard to probably figure that shit out.
I
Nice.
don't care what you were saying. You do things. You make these things happen.
So make sure everybody, come on, let's get as many people in here. I want you guys to win this. This is some good shit. So glass flow art. It's glass flow, just taking out the W, and then we have bongs. All right, there's 5 for bongs, 3 for glass flow art. So if you want to up your ante, you need to enter both of these.
Got a little cool nectar collector here with the quartz tip. Sometimes I don't know where that fucking.
Wait, hold on, let me get you front and center.
You could use that as like a little stogie tip too, but you put that little tip in there, boop, heat it up, dab up with that motherfucker right there. And then, a little Jack Skellington on the black and white. Beetlejuice. We know that movie's coming out here soon. And if you didn't, you heard it first.
All right. And then what you're going to do is if you win, you're going to go to...
And my wife will tell you the shipping. Don't be all rude about like, oh, I didn't want to win and I'm not paying for that. Everything's on the house. You better sign up now. Support Madman.
All you got to do is go to giveaways if you win, and you're going to click right here, snag your swag. I need your address and your name so I can have him ship it out. All right.
Two people are going to win. There's no 2 ways about that.
All right. So you got to go here and make sure to snag your swag. It's the only way. If you send me a message on Instagram, It will get lost. I've been getting so many messages lately. It's insane. All right. All right. 3 for glass flow art. Come on. There's 7 people. You better type in glass flow art and bongs.
Shit, I'm about to participate myself. I might win.
You probably would win.
That's happened before, but then we just give it to the next reasonable contestant.
And while we're waiting for the last round of people to enter, I'm going to take my last bong rip.
Brother, I actually understand there might be some cool reefers around here somewhere.
Agronomics, you want to join me?
Yeah. Let me get a.
Everybody watching, let's join me. Make sure you are entering right now as Agronomics gets ready here. Glass flow art and bongs.
It could be you. It could be you.
It could be you. And remember, you can go to glassflowart.com and check out all
It's
this.
actually it's a glass-flow.com. My website, the name's a little fucked up, but it's there.
Uh,
That's just me
all
being
right,
honest again.
let's take a rip.
At the glass-flow.com or at glassflowart. If you look that up,
I like
you
this
might
one.
be able to find me. And if you can't, that's cool. Just fucking ask Steph. He'll let you know where I am.
I like the 3-person column better than the wide. It brings you in closer. Like you can really, like up on close. All right, let's see who some winners are. How come I have 6 for bongs and 4 for glass flow art?
I don't know. That means we got 10 contestants at least. That's pretty cool.
With 8 people watching, it is.
Wait,
All right.
who are these other 2 people?
I know. All right, here we go.
Doom doom tap, doom doom tap, doom doom tap, doom doom tap, doom boom boom tap, boom boom tap.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, dude. All right,
yeah.
all right.
Right on.
So remember, you go to my website, go to giveaways.
Wait, did they get this one or that one?
You got to decide real quick so he knows.
Oh, well, maybe if that's the first winner. They get to decide.
All right, hold him up. Hold him up. Hold him up.
Like, is it the pipe or the nectar collector?
Hold him up so he can see.
You get the pipe.
No, no, I can't see. No, hold it center.
Wait, what do you mean center?
You have to hold it in the center of the screen.
You know, you know I'm challenged.
All right, so that's the nectar collector, and that's a 2-piece, so you can take it apart if you want to clean it, or use it as a chillum.
And you know, the chillum could work, but it's not quite chilly.
It's more of an
it's more to form fit.
All right, Dad's tenant. What do you want? And then over here,
You said
the
nectar
nectar
collector.
collector. All right, go ahead and put that on the website. And then for the other winner, bongs. Wait.
Drum roll, please.
Spanish.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. That's what's up.
That
What's up?
is badass.
It's funny because he said he wasn't sure if he saw his name pop up, and then he wins.
That's
It
awesome.
happens that way sometimes, and that's where
Spanish Dre.
is the Dre short for Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre in the house.
I love his music. It's fucking tremendous.
So you'll go on the website and type in the bull, and I'll get it to him. We'll ship it out.
Fenestray has the Jack Skellington coming to him. That's awesome. That's badass.
Mhm. All right, guys. Well, remember, guests, you will stay on. Everybody else, it has been a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for being here. We got more podcasts coming from you. Way more content that's going to be uploaded on the website this week. So many interviews took place at Baltimore. It was a lot of fun getting to meet everybody. We spent the whole time talking about AC Infinity and Hydrazine, Simple Sullivan's, No Clone Left Behind, and Galaxy Production, all of our great sponsors. It is just an awesome opportunity to be here with you guys. I want to thank my main man, Gronomics, over there for being the mod. I want to thank Kyle for bringing on his energy and his spirit tonight. It was awesome. You know, the biggest thing I really want to do is focus on making this a better, and it only gets better. You know, we're going to be traveling more next year and so forth. So a lot more is coming your way. I hope to see you at an event coming soon. The next stop is Illinois, Chicago, followed by Vermont. So I really, really hope to see everybody, and we will see you guys